Happening right now at 10, taking a look downtown Rockford on this mild Saturday night. Meteorologist Kelsey Emery will have a look at what's in store for Sunday up next. Plus, an eventful day in the state line, what authorities are saying happened at an early morning shooting and an emergency plane landing. And as rescue efforts for survivors continue in Turkey, we see how a neighboring country is making strides to help those in need.
From 13 WREX, your weather authority. This is 13 News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Samantha Soto. Let's kick things right off tonight with weather. You're looking at a glimpse of downtown Baltimore with a beautiful view tonight, and they're seeing some similar temps like we saw here in the state line today. Your weather authority meteorologist Kelsey Emery joins us now. Kelsey, what does the day look like ahead?
It's going to be very similar to what we saw today, with temperatures in the upper 40s for the day tomorrow. But right now, we're seeing those temperatures in the 30s, which is still quite warm for this time of year. 31 in Rockford, 35 in Freeport, and 32 in Monroe. Temperatures across the area are in the low to mid 30s. 31 in Mount Morris, 32 in Monroe, 34 in Janesville, and 32 in DeKalb. Now, if you're heading out the door tonight, maybe grab a jacket as it is a little bit cooler out, but for tomorrow those temperatures will be in the upper 20s, 28 degrees, and gradually getting into the 30s as the morning progresses with beautiful blue skies. So get out and enjoy another sunny day. I'll have a full look at your forecast coming up in just a little bit. Back over to you, Sam.
Kelsey, thank you. No injuries were reported after a small plane makes an emergency landing in a field east of DeKalb this evening. DeKalb County Sheriff's Office says the plane was traveling over the area just after 2 this afternoon while traveling from Shelbyville, Tennessee to Waukesha, Wisconsin. Authorities say the plane lost power in the air and the pilot made an emergency landing in a field northwest corner of Pleasant State on Airport Road east of DeKalb. Authorities say neither the pilot nor the passenger were injured in the landing, and the plane sustained minor injuries. And new at 10, as we saw some spring weather, people in Michigan took advantage of their lower temperatures by celebrating a Catholic Mass. St. Albert the Great University Parish's Ice Chapel has turned into a yearly tradition to celebrate winter carnivals. It is put together in the weeks leading up to the carnival. The chapel is built out of snow, plywood, and 2x4s. The students have expanded their creation over the years, adding new touches to the chapel like stained ice and a raised pulpit. And here at home, that beautiful weather was also enjoyed as many took their talents to the ultimate test and made some incredible masterpieces made completely out of snow. 13 WREX's Destin Howard was at the ice sculpting competition today and shows us some of the winners and their amazing work.
It is an art show where snow is the medium and nature is the backdrop.
The Illinois Snow Sculpting Competition is back in Rockford now after 37 years. People from across the state still coming to compete in this friendly competition.
It's wonderful to see the people and the families that come back year after year. And they come back not only to see the sculptures, but to interact with the sculptors themselves.
The Keith Country Day School team won first place in the high school division for their sculpture, Be Nice.
We didn't expect to get 3 awards, especially since we got second place last year, but that was it. But it feels really rewarding after all of the work that we put in.
The Windy City Snowmen, also first place winners in the state division for their sculpture Don't Take the Bait, say they loved getting a chance to interact with the younger artist.
Well, that high school group you just interviewed was, Kim was mentoring them through the whole couple days, so.
That was my kids. They won.
I mean, that's what it's all about. You know?
Honestly, taking stuff from the state team is really helpful. We incorporated ice in our sculpture as ice wings for bees, and we actually got the idea for that from a state team.
The weather proved to be warmer than the sculptors would have liked, with temperatures in the lower 40s, even pushing one team to withdraw. However, those who stayed in the competition were able to persevere.
We're happy that the sculptures are still standing right now, because that was, a concern that is it going to warm up too much on Saturday.
We've been in weather like this with international teams, guys from Germany, Russia, China, and out of 15 pieces, 5 fell. And, with this group, it's a state event. We got high schools. Nobody fell.
Those are some talented sculptors, and 26 teams were a part of this year's competition, and officials are looking to have even more next year. For more information on how to sign up, you can contact the Rockford Park District. And switching gears now, one man is dead following a shooting this morning. Rockford police say a shooting took place on the 1300 block of 7th Avenue this morning, where the man was said to have life-threatening injuries. Rockford Police Department says the man was in a vehicle when he was shot. Officers were called to the scene just before 11 this morning when they found the man dead. Chief Carla Red is now calling on the community to put a stop to gun violence.
These guns aren't accidentally getting into hands by any means. So we're going to do what we have to do, but definitely going to be calling on the community for some more assistance around this too.
Officers are investigating a possible suspect, but no further information is available at this time. Stay with 13 News as we continue to bring you up to date as details become available. And a Rockford man is dead following a 3-car crash in rural DeKalb County last night. DeKalb County Sheriff says 57-year-old Greg Knapp died on Glidden Road at River Lane near Kingston. Knapp was hit head-on by another car that crossed the center line and taken to the hospital, where he later died. The driver of the other car was identified as a 19-year-old from Rochelle, who was also taken to the hospital. His condition was not released by authorities. The driver of a third car swerved out of the way to avoid the crash and was not hurt. The crash remains under investigation by the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office. And across the state, a 16-year-old boy has been charged with murder in the fatal shooting of 2 students at a Chicago high school back in December. The teen has been charged with 2 counts of felony first-degree murder and 2 counts of felony attempted murder, according to Chicago police. The 4 teenagers were shot December 16th at Benito Juarez High School. The teen was arrested on Thursday after tips from the public. The minor is expected to appear in bond court today, and his name has not been released due to his age, but he may be charged as an adult. And also in Chicago, a man whose legs were amputated in 2017 after a car pinned him against the front of a 7-Eleven has reached a settlement with the convenience store chain. A Cook County judge approved the $91 million settlement this week, the same day the man's lawsuit was set for jury trial. The man's attorney said the crash is one of thousands of similar accidents that helped him in the case and could have been avoided had the store installed posts in between the store and the parking lot. And new tonight, the suicide rates in the U.S. increased in 2021 after 2 years of decline, according to the CDC. Experts say there were 14.1 suicides for every 100,000 people, with significant increases among African Americans, Native and Hispanic Americans. However, for white Americans, the suicide rate decreased. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, you can reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by calling or texting 988. And new tonight, as the death toll rises from earthquake in Turkey and rescue efforts continue near the quake's epicenter, Istanbul is converting ferries into makeshift hospitals and shelters. CNN's Abdelaziz is on one of the boats as crews get ready to help survivors.
This is a ferry, as you can see. Normally it's transporting people and vehicles across the water here in Turkey, but people are frantically working to turn it into a shelter, essentially a floating village for the many, many people displaced. These chairs could soon essentially be beds for families, and yes, it sounds grim, but for the hundreds of thousands of people who have nowhere to shelter, this will begin to give them some relief. And the city of Istanbul, which is carrying out this project, they're really trying to do everything they can in this space to give people a sense of dignity. What I'm walking towards here is the field hospital that they're building. They've set up these beds here. They're continuing to try to do this. This hospital is going to go to the port city of Iskenderun, one of the worst hit. And they say they're going to have 15 beds here and over a dozen medical staff. They really want to help treat the many tens of thousands of wounded people. They want to try to take a fraction of those and help them. And I'm walking you here now into this room where they've set up all these bunk beds. You can see fresh mattresses just laid down, hopefully able to give families some relief. They've also set up these lockers here so people can put in their belongings. They've even built a playroom on the other side of this boat. Downstairs, there's workers building out showers in bathrooms. Again, this is going to be a tiny floating community, and there's a frantic effort to get this as quickly as possible to Iskenderun, to that affected port city. And it just gives you a sense of how people are really trying to take anything that they can and turn it into a way to help those affected in that quake zone. Sam Abdelaziz, CNN, Istanbul.
Coming up, we recap the stories of the week, including a change in where some of your students could be going to school, and what car spectacular show is back and better than ever.
And if you like today's weather, then you definitely will like tomorrow's weather. Find out when our next chance to see some rain coming up next.